and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Medicaid Home and Community-Based Comprehensive Waiver Overview. My name is Heike Johns, Learning and Development Director for the Division of Developmental Disabilities, and today I'm joining us Shelley Summers from the Federal Programs Unit. Just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. Please use the Q&A box for any content questions that you may have. Those questions will be collected and a follow-up FAQ document will be provided along with a recording of this webinar. If you have technical questions, we'll assist with those the best to our ability, and you can submit those via the chat box. Also, within the next week, you will be receiving an email blast if you're signed up to receive our division email blast. In that email blast, you will receive a link to the recording of this webinar and those FAQ questions as soon as they become available. I'll have the ability to control your screen, so you can use those arrows or the box there on your screen to make it larger if you need to. And with that, I will turn it over to Shelley for today's webinar.
I am glad you could join us for this Federal Programs Unit Comprehensive Waiver webinar. In 2018, Angie Brenner, the Director of the Federal Programs, presented the Home and Community-Based Waivers 101. In case you're not able to listen to Angie's presentation, this HCBS webinar will provide a more detailed overview of the comprehensive waiver that includes the purpose of the waiver, services it provides, and how waivers are similar yet different. So what is a community-based waiver, otherwise known as HCBS? HCBS waivers provide community services to participants who otherwise would be placed in an institution, nursing home, or hospital to receive long-term care in the community. HCBS is about participants having the most integrated lifestyle as possible, just you and me. Medicaid for the HCBS waivers in Missouri consists of a matching approximately 36% of state revenue dollars with approximately 64% of federal dollars. The state does for each waiver the targeted population, the participants that will be served, what services are covered, and how it will spend on services in each of the waivers. Little history. In 1981, a new Social Security Act was added which authorized state Medicaid agencies to apply for HCBS waivers. This means no longer having to live in institutions in order to receive Medicaid. They could take those dollars into the community. In 1998, Missouri implemented its first HCBS waiver. As you know, was for people with developmental disabilities. As the slide shows, the division has the capacity to serve over 8,900 participants in this waiver. The last waiver application was approved by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services and the CMS, and that's effective on July 1st, 2016. Our renewal will be in 2021. And the renewal process starts over a year in advance, so it's a lengthy process. Waiver is unique from the other waivers because it's the only waiver with residential services and also the largest waiver we have. What you need to know. It deals in group homes, shared living, and individualized supportive living arrangements. The annual waiver is also under $80,000, which is monitored to keep costs under the ICF IDD costs. Not every comprehensive waiver receives those residential services. Some live with families or on their own and receive just supported services. Allow the division to assign comprehensive waiver slots to participants priority of need or PO score of 12. Those with PON of less than 12 are added to the wait list or could receive services through another waiver. Participants have needs that cannot be met in the community support waiver, which is an annual cap of $28,000 in services, could be eligible for participation in the comprehensive waiver. The division to meet the participants' needs and other waivers prior to entering into the comprehensive waiver. The other waivers provide the same services except for residential and dental. The division is to support participants in the most integrated setting in their community as long as possible. About state plan services. For those services and items that are medically necessary, most state plan services must be utilized before waiver services are authorized. To approve funding, it must be medical necessity. So it should be determined if the safety, convenience, or is medically necessary. The division is currently working in collaboration with HealthNet to create a document explaining what state plan durable medical equipment items will cover or be covered through HealthNet. State plans include non-emergency medical transportation, of course, medical equipment, and there are others listed there that I won't go through. The comprehensive waiver includes several different residential services to meet the needs and flexibilities of the individuals supported in this waiver. The comprehensive is the only waiver to provide the array of services offered by the division. When dental, we provided in the Partnership for Hope waiver. A couple slides are a few things to keep in mind. Participants who have healthcare needs that exceed 1.25 hours per month may have additional hours of nursing services requested through the Nursing Oversight Service. And their procedure code modifier, which is AU. Also, the ISL Transportation Service, code T2001, will also have a new modifier, HQ, and that is specifically agency and billed for that transportation. In addition, provided and controlled group homes and or ISL settings have 6 additional HCBS requirements for those specific settings. Couple more things here. Participants may qualify for both Department of Health and Senior Services and Department of Mental Health waivers. However, a participant can only receive services one waiver at a time. The eport coordinator is encouraged to work with DSS to ensure that the participant isn't in 2 waivers at the same time. If not, consumer direct state plan and self-direct a DD waiver service at the same time. Applications or E may be furnished to adapt living arrangements that are leased by providers of waiver services. These are considered provider-owned and controlled. Also, per application, a participant must have an ongoing monthly service need that documented in their individualized supported plan. If services is less than monthly, participant requires regular monthly monitoring, which must be also documented in the ISP. HealthNet record reviews are mandatory for all waivers. Requires the Medicaid agency, which is HealthNet, provide oversight to the division, which is the operating agent of the DD waivers. It requires a statistically valid sample of waiver records to review for compliance and to verify if the division is meeting the required expectations. Use the following areas for the fiscal year. That includes the level of care determinations, the individualized supported plans, the waiver provider services choice statements, the assessment used to determine the LOCs, CMOR organizations, and monthly and/or quarterly reviews for the fiscal year requested. Requires the division to report quarterly and annually to HealthNet. These are assurances address important dimensions of waiver quality, including ensuring that service plans are designed to meet the needs of the waiver participants and that there are effective systems in place to monitor participants' health and welfare. Qualifications under waiver assurances. The waiver assurances regarding provider qualifications either need license or certification or an organization to ensure compliance with assurances. Resources. We have a few resources here down that would be helpful, and they are important, and Fed unit uses them a lot, and that is the comprehensive waiver application. We have provider manual link. We have a unit link, and then the HCBS transition plan link there listed, and those are very helpful resources. So, your time, and I hope this webinar was helpful about the comprehensive waiver. I appreciate everyone's time and schedules.
And reminder, there will be an email blast going out within the next week. It will include a recording of this webinar. That recording will also be posted on the website. In addition to the recording, there will be a link to the presentation so that you'll be able to access that as well. And any questions that were submitted will be responded to in that FAQ document posted as well. Thank you, everyone.